Hi, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. My name is David James, and I'm here with my wife, Keisha James. And
Hi.
we just want to take a few moments and thank all of you for your time that you sit and you just listen to what we have to say. We do this for the community. We are an information. That's what we're here to do. We're here to put out information, not misinformation, not disinformation.
And not opinions.
Exactly. Now, with that in mind, since you said opinions, but we also want to say that we are very appreciative to PAC 14 for allowing us to use this platform and the platforms they use. However, what we say on our show is in no way a representation of PAC 14. We are independent local producers, but we do have a burden to make sure that people are informed the right way. So,
thank you for that.
Yes. So enjoy. We're going to have a great show today as we're going to be hearing from Gavin Stevens, who formerly worked at Halo with the outreach department, and he's going to let us know a little bit about his burden for souls and what he would like to see happen, and some of the things that we see the homeless dealing with that he would like to see improve. And we're also going to have Bishop Dickerson and Council Lady April Jackson from the City Council here. So you don't want to miss that. And of course, we're going to have my wonderful wife who has been working on this Praise in the Park. Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, like I said last week, Praise in the Park will be September 20th from 10 to 2. We are so grateful for our mayor for providing the park for us. So that'll be Salisbury City Park. And I'm just looking forward to our community coming together for our homeless. Absolutely.
And there's so many of the community seems to be chiming in here lately. I do appreciate all that has done so.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be very productive. So
right.
Stay with us. We're going to have a good show today. Hello, everyone. We are here with Gavin Stevens. Gavin,
what's going on?
Welcome to the
sir.
show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Would you like to take a few moments and tell everybody who you are and how you became one of the guests here?
Sure. So my name is Gavin. I'm from Wycomico County and mainly Salisbury. Lived here for 30 years-ish. And so love being here. Thank you for the invite. My heart has always been in this community and for this community. I've helped it when it needed help, and they've helped me when I've needed help. And I've felt that for a long time. And so how dare I not give back and try to help when I can. And so I love being here. I plan on staying here for the foreseeable future. But so this whole show, as far as I know, is on the issue of people experiencing homelessness. And so my role was at Hope and Life Outreach. It's also called Halo. It isn't anymore. I've taken another opportunity, but I did get to spend a great deal of time working with the homeless population here in Wycomico County, as well as businesses and organizations that helped that population as well. So that's
nice.
My experience there.
Nice. Now, how did you end up working with Halo?
Cool. So I graduated college and I did a lot of electrical distribution sales. Long story short, I kind of got out of the sales for-profit field once Celeste called me and said, hey, Celeste being the director of Halo, she said, hey, Gavin, I know you're a known entity. I know you care about the community. I have a new opportunity that we've never had here at Halo before, the director of development, but I was called the community relations administrator, where I went out facing the community and tried to bring people in for our calls. And so I said, yeah, let me look at it. Let me think about it. So I met with her, and man, it was hard to say no. I mean, it was just such a great opportunity. Wow. And I knew that there was a difference to be made. Never had worked closely with the homeless population that much before that, but that was definitely an introduction to the issue and the cause.
Well, it was a great start.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Now, let me ask you this. On the average, how many people does Halo feed on a day basis?
Sure. So we have a cafe at Hope and Life Outreach right on campus. It started in 2010, And since then, in June of this year, so 2 months ago, we served 1 million meals.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
Wow.
Yeah, so what that looks like nowadays is 300 average meals every single day, and including the weekends. So what that looks like on a more specific basis, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, especially Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, they go ahead and bag the lunch and breakfast at 7:30 in the morning, and they then resume that dinner in campus in the cafe at 6 o'clock at night. And so, yeah, average around 300 meals, keeping in mind as well the weather. When it's colder outside, we'll have more guests come. And it's not restricted to people experiencing homelessness, nor is it to our guests that stay at our shelter.
Oh, wow.
It's also open to the public. So you don't have to have an ID. You don't have to be experiencing homelessness. You just have to be willing to come in and sit down and eat a meal. That's all that you need to come in. So
I was not aware of that.
absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Are there more single or families coming in there?
So yeah, on average, it's definitely about 61% single people that come in by themselves. Usually men. We have single men and single women by themselves, but it's definitely majority men. And then we also have families, and those families stay with us on the women's shelter. We have a men's shelter and a women's shelter, and we separate them and as such. And then so the families, if they were to have that, it would be the mother and it would be the children. So we are able to house all sorts of different type of dynamic situations.
Now, thank you. Now,
Sure.
if they're married, do they still separate male with the males and then females with the females?
Yeah, so if they're married, they can actually stay at the shelter, but they at the end of the day are still separated. I won't name any names, but I actually know a really great group of a really great couple. That are married. He stays on the men, she stays on the women. But man, they're together all day. They're together all day more than me and my own wife are. So as far as separating, it is a temporary.
Sure, it's temporary shelter.
Temporary shelter, yeah. But they do spend a lot of quality time together, and aren't separated in that way.
Okay. What would you say is the percentage of those that come in and are on some kind? They're chemically dependent on something.
Okay. I would put the number around 60%, meaning they, at some point in time, it could have been recently, tried or dealt with a substance issue, or they're actively dealing with a substance issue. You put it all together, it's probably around 60 to 70% of our guests at some point or still deal with that issue.
Okay, and what kind of programs, what kind of programs are available through Halo to give them a fresh start when they come in?
Oh man, Halo, one thing I love about it, it's a mix of different type of activities and programs and people that get injected into their life really immediately. And so when they get through the door, they immediately, again, if they become a guest, they immediately get to stay with us for 90 days. And then they have to have a 30-day break. If they are a Journey of Hope member, which I'll get to in a second, then they get to stay with us until program completion, and that could look like several months. So the Journey of Hope, to answer your question, Journey of Hope, JOH, is an amazing program. It's a multi-tiered program where our guests are learning about employment reactivity, so making sure they have their ID, their birth certificate, things like that you actually need for employment. We actually are able to order it and get it for them, so it's a huge case management boost up, just having some of those documents that you need to gain employment. Again, interviewing skills, how to dress, how to talk, how to network. We teach them how to shop and buy healthy things in a grocery market. Be surprised how much they don't know, or may not know. So just in case they didn't, we work with them on healthy eating and budgeting, how to use a thing like an ATM. There's all sorts of different things like that. Then we also teach a huge component of our program is the spiritual aspect. So we believe that they're better off with the Spirit of God in their lives. And one way to do that is to teach them biblical literacy, how to pray, how to walk with God on a daily basis. And in that program, the growth that you see is, it's like intangible. Just to see people growing with God and growing with each other as a community. And so that's another thing that Journey of Hope does.
Nice.
I guess maybe to finish out some of the other programs, we give them vouchers for clothing at our bargain center, which our bargain center is on Snow Hill Road. And that's not our shelter. If you ever see Halo, that's, a lot of people think it is. It's actually our bargain center. Our actual shelter, cafe, Journey of Hope, all that good stuff is right behind like Rita's and Crazy Louie Pawn Shop. I think it's something South Boulevard, something like that.
Yeah, South.
Yeah. So it's over there. So those are actually two different things. But all of it's the same organization. But we give out travel vouchers. Clothing vouchers, as well as vouchers to get furniture. So say they graduated the Journey of Hope program. We help them find a new place. We get them through that process. Hey, I need a bed. Now I need a couch. Now I need a dresser. We give them vouchers to our very own bargain center to furnish their home or their apartment once they find it.
Which, by the way, plug, Halo does accept donations
Correct.
at the bargain center.
That's right.
I'm quite familiar with Journey of Hope because I'm actually working with a young lady who we met at Halo, and it's been about 11 years now. When we met her, her daughter was
Yes.
1,
Okay.
and she's about to
Yeah.
be 12. So it's been a long time.
Success
Sure.
stories come out of that.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yep.
Wow.
So if you have a donation like say clothing or furniture or toys or books, music, an old set of golf clubs, I mean, you kind of
Yeah.
get the idea. And anything you would find in like a pawn shop, we'll take it pretty much.
Books,
All that stuff.
avid readers, believe it or
right.
not, a lot of
I
them.
found a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I spent a lot of time there.
Oh, absolutely.
And the prices are pretty reasonable.
They're
very
there.
reasonable.
I mean, but if I can remember when it comes to every time you buy something there, I think it's for every $2 it feeds one person or one meal or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't have the number on that.
Yeah.
I used to, but no, I mean, at the end of the day, just know that your money is definitely helping the ministry in all sorts of different ways, whether it's from giving out hygiene items, providing a bed for a family, providing a meal for a family. Your active donations and your active purchasing, these are helping fulfill the mission set out in Matthew chapter 25, right, where you're helping people that need help.
That's wonderful.
Well, and what I want to do is, but I'm going to go ahead and wait till we bring Bishop Dickerson in. But I know there has to be times where some of the guests that you get there or they get there at Halo Shelter also end up with the Christian shelter.
Yeah, that's right.
And I want to find out how that communication between the two shelters goes.
That's right. So the people that are experiencing homelessness, they know, I mean, I just want to put it to you like that. They know that they'll have 90 days, or if they're Journey of Hope, then usually they don't go to another shelter. Usually they find housing, which is awesome. That's the goal, right? Even if it's Ann Street, which we can get to later.
Yes.
They know. So oftentimes they leave us after 90 days. They have a 30-day wait period. They'll just spend the next 90 days at the Christian shelter. And then once those 30 days are up there, then they'll come back, and they kind of bounce back and forth. The goal isn't to bounce and forth, though. It is really to
Right.
find them permanent, affordable housing.
Absolutely.
And that's the model that we try to set.
And
But it-
Journey of
but,
Hope,
yeah.
is that a program that helps them find housing
Oh,
at the
absolutely.
end of the program?
Absolutely. Because you got to think, when they stay with us for months and months and months, usually they're working. Another thing that we do at Halo is we provide them from job, whether it's sanitation or construction or helping do things around campus. We have a ton of people on staff, even if it's part-time, that are actively experiencing homelessness staying at our shelter. So we will actually give them literally paychecks to work for us.
Wow.
Not everybody, but there's definitely groups of people that do. And while
very good.
they're there, they're literally getting paid. And so why I say that is because you're staying there for months and months and months. You're building up those paychecks, and they're saving it in their bank accounts, and we're teaching them how to save and budget. But they're saving that money so that way when they do graduate the program, hey, they have a stockpile of,
Wow,
I
that's
need
good.
3 months of rent. Okay, well, guess what? I
There
got
you-
it. I
hey,
got it.
that's
And
wonderful.
one more thing that,
Sure,
it
sure.
is. And one more thing is, for anyone on campus, whether you work for us or not, if you do 2 hours of community service and you're one of our guests, we'll give you a Tide Pod, laundry pod, and a dryer sheet. That way you can do your laundry. So all you have to do is go out there, do community service, or work with the business, or do whatever you do. Bring back a signed form that says, yeah, I did that, and give it to us, and we'll help you do your laundry. Right on campus. We have industrial level washing machines and drying machines.
That's
so
awesome.
People can do their laundry as well. It's a whole wraparound service community: laundry, food, housing, classes. Right. So it's a whole vibrant community that we have right on campus.
Tell me about Ann Street. I haven't heard about
Well, yeah,
that.
we're going to actually get to Ann
We'll get
Street.
to that, yeah.
I want to bring Bishop Dickerson on for that one because,
All right.
yeah, that's a good point. I do want to ask one more question before
Sure.
we go on.
You got it.
When you have people come in, what is the main reason they leave early?
Like if we had them and
You
they were
have to have them
supposed to
leave.
stay for 90 days, but they ended up not. A lot of times it's it's a myriad of different reasons. I mean, maybe they were having a disagreement with one of the other guests, and they just needed to remove themselves from that situation. Maybe their family said, "Hey, we've been looking for you, and we found you.
Oh, wow, okay.
And come with us." Like I finally, I asked around Halo, and somehow, some way, I was able to find you, and come on home.
Wow.
Maybe I hate to say it, maybe they had gotten in trouble. Maybe they found a job and were able to find housing. I don't know that there's a commonality between leaving early, if that makes any sense, right? It doesn't happen too often, but oftentimes it's maybe because they just didn't follow the rules on our campus too. At the end of the
Sometimes
day,
structure
it happens.
is a struggle for certain people.
That's right. When people are truly street homeless, meaning not in a car, they're not like couch surfing, literally street homeless. Yeah, they kind of want to do their own thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
We're gonna talk about that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. When we come back, we'll have Bishop Dickerson on, and this is really interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're back. We have Bishop Dickerson in studio right
Thank you.
now.
Thank you for
Welcome
having
back.
me.
Welcome
Yes,
back.
thank you.
I don't know. Have you met Gavin before? Is this your first meeting?
That's our first meeting, yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. So how's everything at the Christian shelter right now?
It's going good. Everything is going good. We're slowly but surely getting some family rooms online. We upgraded our men's dorm. Men's dorm looked fabulous. We painted the men's dorm. We put a new floor. We repaired some issues that was going on with the bathroom. So it looks amazing. So we should be ready to put the men's dorm and a couple of family units probably in September.
Amazing. And I remember the last time you were actually in studio, you were talking, you now have a burden for the young folk. And
Yes.
how's that project going
Yeah,
on?
we're still praying about it. We want to see what
Absolutely.
direction to go in if we want to tackle a youth shelter. So
Okay.
yeah, we're just really seeking the Lord about which direction to go in that aspect. Yep.
Okay. What's the biggest reason why a homeless person or family would decide to go to the Christian shelter?
Well, they wouldn't, or they would.
Why they would choose the Christian shelter?
Okay, I think some of it they love the structure, and some family want to be structured, and so we help with that area. And some individuals and some families want to be held accountable, and we do a good job holding our guests accountable. So it's important that we hold them accountable, and some of them they really want a relationship with God, and also they want a relationship with themselves. So.
Nice. So, what are some of the reasons why they don't want to come to the Christian shelter?
The opposite.
The opposite
of
of that.
And some people they don't want to be held accountable. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want to be structured. They don't. Here's the favorite one. They don't want to follow rules. But realistically, every household have rules.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't come to your house and do what I can't come to your house and just go in your refrigerator. It doesn't matter about my position. It doesn't matter who I am, but it does matter. But I've invaded your space, and I cannot invade your space. And so that's so important. So, when you come to the Christian shelter, you got to abide by our rules.
Absolutely.
Or we have to, and what I always say, we have to release you into your destiny.
And sometimes that destiny, sends them over to Halo.
Absolutely.
So how is that relationship between the Christian shelter and Halo?
I think it's good because Halo usually call us and see if we have any beds available. We usually call Halo. Hey, look, this is Anthony. I have a guest whose time is getting ready to expire. Do you guys have any beds available?
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I think we do have a good working relationship.
And that's the same, I think, what could be said about diaconia as well. So a lot of our guests that leave end up going to diaconia as well.
Yep.
They find a way to get down there to Ocean City somehow. I don't always know how, but they make it happen, man.
April Jackson said that last time. They know how to get around.
They know how to get around.
So a lot of guests come from diaconia, and a lot of them go to diaconia as well as Christian shelter. So this triangle of love, this love triangle, is it's helping out a lot of people on the Lower Eastern Shore.
Now, here's a question. Are there sometimes folders that have to kind of follow the person between the shelters? In other words, are there sometimes people who leave a shelter on bad terms? Actually, I know of a family back in the past. I actually extended my tried to work with as much as possible. But are there families that actually kind of mess up and then try to go to the other shelter and it kind of...
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Yep.
And I a lot of times because we have permission through the IMS to share information, then I kind of give Halo, whoever the person that I'm talking to, heads up. I don't want them to be blindsided. So I'm very honest. I said this family was not very I don't go into detail. This family was not very successful with us. And if I feel that I kind of need to go deeper, I'll go deeper. Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the time they can read between the lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, same. So like if they leave and they're not successful for whatever reason that may be, that the worst case scenario, if there's not a line of communication in that moment for that guest, then hopefully the firewall of orientation on your end and our end will catch. Okay, this person might not be allowed if maybe they have a background that it just depends. We work with a lot of different people. We take in most people, but at the end of the day, there's some individuals that we don't, right? So we have that firewall in place to protect our guests and our staff and our community from not letting in the wrong people at the end of the day. Right. So again, every house has its rules, like you said.
Absolutely.
And so worst case scenario, you have a person that comes over to us, we'll catch that in the bud a lot of times with whatever, and they're usually a known entity too. So.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's usually got a kind of a track record.
It's a smaller community than you think of the people.
Now we got a new intake process and an outtake process, and I'm proud about this. We have a Christian therapist. She's on fire for God. Oasis of Hope. Karen. Her name is Karen. I mean, she is awesome. And what we do when we get the call that someone wants to come in the shelter, they have to go through a mental health assessment.
That's right.
And I'll tell you why. Because everybody that comes to our shelter is not a good fit.
That's right.
Because we're moving away from emergency shelter into transitional.
There you go.
So since I have a lot of children there, I gotta keep the baby safe.
That's right.
I like that.
And so they go through a mental health assessment, and then she reports back to us, Bishop, this person is not going to be a good fit based on, and it's documented.
So if they're not a good fit, what's the next move for them?
Well, she tries to work with them and tries to find appropriate shelter. That's the awesome thing about having a therapist and working with a therapist. And then when it's their time to leave the shelter, she meets with them again and says, "Okay, what is your plan for discharge?"
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, and mental health issues is something. I mean, our last show we were talking about that, and I mean, I was talking to some people who work in the school system. In the shelters, you get a lot.
Yeah, and because she's trained to pick up on things that we can't. We're not trained. I'm only trained in the Word.
The Holy Ghost sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
we're not all like clinical social workers.
Yeah, right.
We're not chemical dependency counselors. We're just people that love the Lord and want to help people. And then there's people that specialize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, our discernment and discretion.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And sometimes the world don't understand that. So
That's right.
I do want to ask, do you feed people outside of the shelter?
actually we do, but we don't announce it. If somebody comes and says, "Hey, look, I need a bag lunch," we go get them a bag lunch.
Okay.
But we don't.
You don't turn them down.
We don't announce it because we will have everybody, and I'm hoping I'm not going out on the limb by saying that. But we do give them a bag lunch.
Sure.
And so forth. Yeah. We don't really turn people away.
Okay. Good. Now, I do want to ask this when we're talking about mental health. Do you two feel that there is enough help in the community? I was talking to Joe Lappin, who used to work up in Cambridge at the mental health facility. There's no longer that anymore. I think it's now the Hyatt. It's kind of scary. Went from the hospital to a Hyatt. Yeah. But do you feel that we need more, or are there enough help out in the community?
I think both. I think we need more, but then in having more, I think those entities need to communicate. I think communication is the key, because a lot of times we as a community, we don't know what's out there. So I think they should communicate not only with each other, but they need to communicate their services to the community, and making sure that they get it to the right source. Yeah.
I was talking to a doctor. Actually, I can say his name, Dr. Zant, and he was letting me know that a lot of this, the homeless problem we have, it's not about being homeless; it's a mental health issue.
Right.
And I remember my wife and I were invited by Celeste over at Halo to go to I think the showing was. Americans Without Walls. I think you were there.
No address.
Right.
No address. Yes.
And it talked about the fact that nationwide there's no mental hospitals like it was when I was growing up.
That's right.
And since there is not that many of them, what has happened is the problem, and I'm saying the issue, not the person, but the issue has been taken care of by either the jail system, the school system, or homelessness. Yep. Would y'all agree on that?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
See, I think, and there is mental health, but then there's mental habits.
You have to elaborate a little bit on that one.
So some people have mental health issues where they require a higher level of care, whether it be medication, whether it be institutionalized, or whether it be they need therapy or so forth. That's someone that basically has mental health.
That's mental health.
Right, but mental habits is when you get into the addiction.
Yeah.
And the addiction can cause mental habits, such as double-mindedness. And we know what the Word of God says: double-mindedness is unstable in all his ways. And another medical term for double-minded is bipolar.
Schizophrenic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that could be through drug activities. So someone may not have a mental health issue, they may have a mental habit issue.
Wow.
And that's a complicated. I mean, it's hard to have do we have 5 more hours?
Yeah, right.
Because then you talk about people they made a mistake when they were young. They got incarcerated. They tried to do good. They got their education inside. They changed their life for the better, but they were left with maybe some anxiety, some PTSD, maybe some bad habits that they picked up while inside. Right. Then they get out, and they hang around the wrong people, so on and so forth. Yeah. But man, these people, all they need is another person just to walk right beside along with them. Homelessness is easy to get into, hard to get out.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, instead of trying to fix it after it happens,
Yeah.
nip it in the bud
Yeah.
before it happens is the goal, right? So with these mental health institutions and agencies and government, non-government, the best thing people could do is get it before it happens or while it's developing instead of waiting till after it happens, because then it's a lot harder to fix and deal with after the fact.
Yeah, and what I like about our therapist, she said that there are some people that have mental health issues. Yeah, they do need medicine, but some people need coping skills. How to cope with life, how to cope with rejection.
Wow.
Yeah.
How to cope with denial.
Wow.
And even how to cope. Here's the thing: how to cope with grief. Now, when we look at grief is not always a loss of someone, but loss of some things,
There you go.
such as loss of a car, loss of a house.
Yeah.
Loss of a job.
Yeah,
Loss of a job.
exactly. And you still have to go through what I call the 5 stages of grief. You have to go through those.
Wow.
And then,
Wow.
grief has some way of doing some weird things. You can go through all the 5 stages and then you have to go through those stages all over again. So,
I've noticed, thank you, and working with, of course, in ministry over the years, I have learned that a lot of people who have problems with heroin, they are kind of spiritual. They all talk about getting closer to God. So, I mean, how would you say that those things are connected? Like when they were out there and then they find that connection to God?
yeah. Because here's the thing, and I'm reading a book called it's by John Bevere. It's called The All of God. Powerful book, and he in the 18th chapter of that book, he talks about a well-known evangelist that he was a powerful man of God, but he got arrested because of fraud and because of infidelity and so forth. And so he called John Bevere to the jail cell, and they hugged and embraced. And John Bevere asked him a question. He says, "When did you fall out in love with Jesus?" And he says, I didn't. And John Bevere looked at him, startled. He said, "Wait a minute, you got caught up in the fidelity and bank fraud and all that. Why? He's thinking in his mind, why? How come you say you still love Jesus?" He says, "I love Jesus, but I didn't fear God."
There you go.
There's a difference.
There you go.
There's a difference.
And sometimes these individuals, they say they love God, but they don't fear God. They only
Relationship.
honor him with his lips. I mean, we can talk a good game. I mean, you can tell your wife, "Honey, I love you," but if you don't never show her.
And you didn't talk to her in 9 days.
Exactly.
Great, I'm going to the ice cream parlor when I leave.
That's right.
Right, exactly. So it's that fear of God. Yeah, once they've had a relationship with God, but you got to take it deeper, because if you really fear God the way you should fear God, you're not going to want to do anything that harm your body, harm your neighbor, or even harm yourself.
Wow. So that's the importance of having a Christian shelter or shelters that teach the word versus just having a shelter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we do 2 things. We teach individuals, we give them strategies how to have a relationship with themselves, but also how to have a relationship with God.
Which is important.
Because once you have a relationship with yourself and once you have a relationship with God, everything else falls in place. I got scripture to back it up. It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these other things
Will be added."
added."
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Well, we're gonna come back with our sequel here, and this is just good. Thank you. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back. We actually have a full panel here as we're now joined by the councilwoman of councilwomen, if you will, April Jackson. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The great thing I can always tell everybody about you there, Councilwoman Jackson, is of all the elected officials I know, you're the ones that are concerned about the homeless and the people out there.
Yes.
I'm concerned about everybody.
Right.
I really am. Homeless is one of my main focuses, but just everybody, and you can't satisfy everybody, so you just try to do your best. and I'm being led. I'm being led to do what I do, and I want to be. It's not. I don't even know if I can say politically correct. I just want to be right in what I'm doing. You know, I just don't want to make
Biblically
mistakes.
correct.
Even though, what you say?
Biblically.
Yes, it's the political correct it's not what it's all about. I was led to be actually, and believe it or not, I was led to be a council person by God.
Yes.
Absolutely.
By God.
Absolutely.
By God.
Yes.
And I appreciate that, because a lot of times the homeless get left out because most of the time they don't vote. Let's just be real. And a lot of times when we're dealing with people who are elected officials, the unelected or those that don't vote don't get that much of a say. So thank you for being that person. We were talking a few minutes ago about mental health facilities, and I know we have some behavioral health facilities here locally, but how many overnight facilities do we have? Anybody know?
Dub Point, is it Dub? Yeah, Dub Point has a few houses. I don't know exactly how many. But I do know my daughter used to work for them at one time, and they did have a few houses from Allen to Salisbury, in the Salisbury area.
I know many people that struggle with mental or behavioral health. They end up getting sent over on the other side of the bridge, or maybe in Delaware as well,
Right.
just for a short stint of stay until they, then they
place.
Well,
come
that's
back.
the problem. It's a short stay.
Yeah.
I've heard at the hospital itself, it's a 72-hour stay, and then they'll send you to a 2-week facility. But what happens then?
Right.
Because when they let you out, they don't give you outpatient care. So
Follow
I
up.
think that that's a major problem, because the 9 times out of 10, the patient doesn't do that on their own. If you give them that guidance and help them, then it'll be easy for them to say, okay, I have my appointment and I have it this month. And so maybe if they did that once a month or something for them, but that's not what they do. They just send them right back out.
And then they're not, the judge cannot enforce their medications.
Right.
And if you're on medication and you know that you need the medication, and you know you're not mentally stable enough to take it, or know when to take it, or know how to take it,
Right.
you're not going to take it. So I just feel like people should be placed places where they can
Right.
be able to take their medicines, or their medicines are administered to them.
Yeah, I know we normally refer individuals that have addiction issues and addiction challenges. I either refer them to one or two places, either the Helping Up Ministry, that's across the bridge, Baltimore. They supply you with everything. Those are for individuals that are serious about getting clean, and they have a biblical-based curriculum, and you can stay there for a year. And then they have a 30-day blackout. A lot of people don't like that 30-day blackout. In 30 days, you can't talk to nobody. You can't talk to nobody. You can't talk to your mama, your husband. You can't talk to nobody. A lot of people don't like that. But again, that's part of the recovery. And or I will refer them to the Teen Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
They have a women's ministry in Georgetown, but they have a men's ministry in Seaford. And I visit both of those places. Both of those places are immaculate. And again, they're faith-based. They're faith-based.
And a couple things there, Bishop. Thank you. First thing is, if they don't, fast everything, sometimes mama and daddy could be the problem.
Right. Right.
And there are times, and so you got to sometimes be away from everything. It's kind of unique. My wife
Mommy
was
and
just
daddy
teaching
can
on
be the
fasting.
enabler. Yes.
But yeah, sometimes they can be the enabler.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I have a concern with is you brought faith-based. There are programs, and I don't want to say them because some people get offended, but there are programs out there that may work, but they're not faith-based. They say a higher power,
Yeah.
Right.
and they may have started out when they first started out having God as their, higher power, but there's a lot of them that don't use
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah.
Like part of the 12
Right.
steps or something like that.
Right. So, and a lot of times, I'm like, she was just saying a few minutes ago about people don't know when to take their medicine. Now, a lot of times when they keep them for 72 hours, they send them out with some kind of a script, and they go out there on the street and they sell their medicines. And we're talking about the homeless, I can tell you there's a lot of the homeless are out there. It's not because they don't have money.
Yeah.
It's because there's a mental issue.
And the reason why a lot of these programs sometimes they experience success is because the individual wants it.
Yes.
And a lot of times,
want it.
too,
Yeah.
a lot of the people there that are the administrators, they have experienced it themselves.
Yep.
Right.
See, a person to me can't tell me about drugs
Right.
if you've never done drugs before.
Right.
Because you can't tell me the repercussions behind them.
Right.
You can't tell me how I feel, how I felt,
How to
or
get through it.
through it. You can't. You just can't tell. Me personally, and I tell people, I was on drugs. I was. And you know how I kept crying to God.
Amen.
I cried out to him.
Amen.
I need help.
That's where
I
it
need you
starts.
to help me. And my girlfriends used to laugh at me. This, you're not but a crybaby. I said, yeah, but guess what? I'll be out of this and you'll still be waddling in your mess.
Right.
And I just felt I wasn't raised this. Yeah, I wasn't raised like this.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be like this, and I didn't want to bring this on my kids, on my family. You know, my father worked so hard in the community for the same thing I'm working for. My mother was working at a detention center. I didn't want to go up there and embarrass her. And I didn't want kids taunting my kids. So I said, God help me.
Right.
And when he took it just like that.
There you go.
Amen.
Just like that. And I have never, and
The
I
power
am
of the
now
Holy Ghost.
28 years clean.
There you go.
Amen.
Awesome.
28 years clean.
Amen. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's
And the
why I
Wakama
say where
cookie-
the Spirit of the Lord is, sickness cannot dwell. When you place the Holy Ghost first,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And reminded me of the coat team though, in Comic Cook
Yes.
County. If anyone did the coat team, all of those people actually have what
Experienced it.
They experienced it, and
Yeah.
former people that went through it and got through it. So,
Can you explain that program a little
so
bit?
code team, yeah. So actually, Brian Perez, I don't know if he ever would watch this, but he was one of the guys on the code team. But it's a program that Wicomico County created. I think it stands for was it chemical? I forget, but basically they deal with people struggling in the throes, right in the midst of addiction, and they send the COAT team there to intervene and work with them. They have one-on-one mentorships and have wraparound services for people experiencing addictions. They're gonna crucify me for not getting the COAT name.
I know I can't even get it, and I was there when they named it, and I can't.
know. I used to know it at one point in time, but they do great work.
Yes.
COAT. It's an acronym for something, but they do awesome work in Wicomico County.
Addiction treatment is the last two words.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but they did do a remarkable job. I know quite a few young ladies who were part of that, and they moved up in different positions and
Yeah.
gone different places. And that's why I said, some people are so ashamed of being
Right.
or going through
Yeah.
or doing stuff or being addicted to drugs and being. But see, sometimes, and I'm going to say it on religious because I love the Lord. Sometimes he takes us through these things for us to be able to help other
Yes.
people. Anything we go through is to help somebody else.
that's right.
It's just not
exactly
happening because
right.
it's happening. It's
No.
because, but it's all to how you handle it.
Yeah.
Coming out of it, you know. You know, we could take I could take right now, you know, go into unfamiliar surroundings with people on drugs or somebody homeless, and I could fall prey. But
Yeah.
I'm strong now. But I don't want to be. Now, I have friends that are still doing this. And I'll say, I don't want to shun them. And I speak and I hug them and I do everything.
Right.
You know. But I have to keep myself at a distance because I don't want to get back into that realm of thing.
Right.
And they always say, April, you are still the same. You haven't changed. You now that where you are, you don't act like you're better than us.
That's
And
good.
I'm not supposed to. I'm not better than you. I've just moved up in the world to do some things to help those who need help.
plus you never lost your love.
No.
And I'm sure you probably remember some important people in your life that helped you get to where you needed to be as well, that came alongside you at that time too.
Yeah, I do. I remember, matter of fact, it was maybe one or two people. I can say my mother didn't know how to do it. She was kind of like, you know, mothers, because I can show
for
tough
sure.
love. My mother, she showed tough love, but in a way that it really hurt me. Now my dad was entirely different. He saw it. Said, you need help. You want help? Do you want help? And I said, no, Dad. I said, God's going to take care of this. And he was like, I said, God's going to take care of this. And when I got myself together, it was
Thank
just
you,
like
Jesus.
everything left, everything, the smoking cigarettes, everything, the drink, everything, you know, and you tell the Lord, you say, take everything from me that is not of you, Lord.
Right.
And he'll do it. And people say, be careful what you pray for. Because I lost my home, my husband, but it was God's will. You know, we have to look at things like that. You know, even in helping the homeless, we have to be mindful. We can't be mean, begrudging, and you know, because they're already going through it. They're already going through it. So we have to be not compassionate, but we have to show God's love. Now, there's times when you have to get firm with them. But it's a different kind of firmness. It's like a mother, because I was always asked when I was doing the shelter, you know, they would say to me, are you a correction officer? I said, no. Were you ever in the military? I said, no. They said, well, why are you so disciplined? And why are you just like order? I said, because that's how it was in my house. My father wasn't in the army either, in the service. But it was just like order. And like I believe when people are in the Christian shelter and Halo, I believe they should work clean. Clean. Whatever you all need them to do, they need to be able to do. You shouldn't have to pay somebody to come in and clean your facility when you have people there that can do it, and they need to do it. They need to know how to do this. They need to know that you can't live anywhere for free. Anywhere.
And unfortunately, a lot of them, they lack the structure or want to have structure in their life, so they're out on the streets. And one of the concerns I have about being out there on the streets for them a lot is there's so much out there. Because the little bit of money there's a lot of them out there that still get a check. I don't know where they go pick up their check at, but
What's on a card now?
Oh, okay. So they're out there, and the thing is that they're not getting any help that's going to be long-term, like the bishop was talking about, not just getting in there and getting a hot meal, but getting some kind of help long-term. What they're going to do is they're going to go out there, they're going to end up addicted. Not only addicted, unfortunately, a lot of them end up dead. You know? And, you know, we have a very high homeless population here in Salisbury.
Yes, we do.
And a lot of it's right downtown. You know, every morning, my wife and I, we ride downtown by the library, and you know, a lot of people pay attention to the crosswalk. Well, if you're at that crosswalk, instead of looking at the crosswalk, looking at the bridge.
Yes.
There's a whole village.
Yes.
I'm actually hearing that, you know, and I'm glad to hear about these clinics. I want to cover that before we wrap up. I'm glad to hear about the clinic they got on Church Street and on Moore Street. But what I heard, I think yesterday, really broke my heart. Where the one on Moore Street was, there was a homeless camp there.
Yes, it was.
And now, where do those people go?
They're behind the Salisbury Middle.
Wow.
That wooded area there. And they've been there for a while. They've been there for a while because
Since I was in middle school, they were there.
I can remember them when I was at the Billie Jean Jackson Park doing the concession stand, and they would come over and they would just sit and charge the phone. And one day, I ain't gonna lie, I said, you're not supposed to be charging your phone over here. And someone said, shut your mouth. Because that's the only, and they honestly did, because that's the only way that they can communicate.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, just be quiet and let those people do what they do.
Sure.
And I would feed them. I would come out with drinks, you know, like some days I would just I have Gatorades, I put them out, and they would come and say, can we have one? I said, honey, take them all, but make sure you share them with everybody. And there would be times when we have overabundance of food, and I would give them to them, bread or whatever, and give it to them. And they still come. They still, not as frequent as they used to. They would still come. I saw one guy one day, he just kept feeding. He kept buying food, selling food. I said, who are you buying all this food for? And he said, my friends. I said, they're not your friends. I said, because you're going to spend your whole check.
Right.
And they're not, when your check is gone, you're going to be alone. And mind you, he came back about 2 days later, and my girlfriend and I were sitting in the window, and he said, you were right.
Wow.
And I said, are you hungry? And he said, yes. I said, don't worry about it. We got you.
Wow.
We got you.
You know, there's one homeless young man. I actually spoke to him right before I came here.
Curtis.
If you ever want to get encouraged, He's the one homeless young man that always smiles.
Yeah.
He never asks us for anything. But he's one of the ones, and actually I told him I was coming to PAC 14. He said, oh, the TV show, the TV network. There are those out there that are literally not addicted to things.
Yeah.
But to get him to stay in a shelter, I can promise you, you never had him at Halo. I'm pretty sure you haven't had him at a Christian shelter. But there's got to be a mental issue there.
Yeah.
My
Because he
concern-
actually turned down work. You know, the county was going to pay him because he picked
Yeah.
up the trash, and he didn't go. We were supposed to take him, and he didn't even meet us.
Yes,
He
actually, the
didn't
county
want to.
executive wants to start paying him because he picks up trash everywhere. I mean, has everybody ever seen him?
Oh, is it black guy?
Yeah,
Black guy.
Yeah, he's been doing it for years.
Yes.
He came to Mr. Curley's and he said, "I want a bag of potato chips," because Tony feed him.
Yeah.
You know, he gives him a bag of potato and and he said, "And some cookies."
Yep. I mean, Curtis.
He has been doing it for years, though.
Yes, he has. I mean, as a matter of fact, I just saw him over there near Checkers cleaning, and I know the owner of the Greek pita place. He feeds them, and but I do know that the county, at least the executive, has told me if I can get him to come up there and to her office, she will start paying him.
I think he's an angel. He doesn't want anybody's money.
I think he just does it for it.
He just loves to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have people like that.
But again, I mean, our overall concern is, again, as we conclude our session here, is homelessness. It's not just one person that suffers when you see someone homeless. It's each and every one of us.
Right.
Why? Because they are us.
Yes.
Each and every one of us, as Councilwoman Jackson just said a few minutes ago, we've all been down and out before.
You want to hear a
In
statistic?
some ways.
Sure.
1 out of every 2 people in the United States is one paycheck away from being homeless without support from other people.
Right.
That's true.
Just to let you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
not everybody's crazy, lazy, addicted, or rebels.
yeah.
Some people are just natural disaster.
And it's going to be a whole lot more of them. It's going to be a whole lot more
It's-
of homeless people, families.
A lot of it's relational.
The economy,
poverty.
and the economy is going to make
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
economy.
people
You're right.
homeless.
You're right. No, you're
I
right.
just spoke with someone today, and she actually told me, you know, she had to rob Peter to pay
Paul.
Paul,
Yeah.
you know, and unfortunately she's staying in the hotel right now just because she can't make ends meet, and she really thinks that something is wrong with her, and I'm like, no, dear,
No.
you're just lifing.
It's just
Yeah,
life.
it's
And
just
it's
like
gonna
I
get
don't know if I
better.
told you the other week. I had a old lady. She was in line, and I kept saying to her, "Put this back, put this back, put this back, put this." I'm like, how much more is she gonna put back? She's not gonna have anything in this
Yeah.
cart. And I said,
Yeah.
"Pay for it."
Yeah.
And I'll pay for it. And the lady looked at me. She said, "You're going to pay for all this?" I said, "Yes." So the lady turns around to me. She said, "You're going to pay for this for me?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She said, "But I got a little bit of money in my car." I said, "Ma'am, pay it forward. Pay it forward. I don't want anything from you. I'm not walking to your car. I'm going to my car, and we'll be fine. You'll be
Absolutely.
fine. Yeah,
Absolutely.
just pay it forward."
We have to remember that we could be exactly where they are.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know, my prayer is every morning, I said, "God, let me be the answer to somebody else's problem. Let me be the answer. Don't just answer, but
Yep.
let me be the answer.
Yep.
Use me
That's
to
right.
answer somebody's problem." That's my
Wow.
prayer.
Right.
That's my prayer. And I think God is creating a scenario in the world for us to really do His work.
Yes.
That's why he's putting
Yeah.
the world in
Yeah.
such
Absolutely.
conditions, because he wants people to totally depend on
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not man, him.
Yeah.
God said he is the way, he's the truth and the light.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no man goes to the Father but through him.
through him.
So, and that's what we have to realize. I believe it. I truly believe that. I tell my girlfriend all the time, I said, "Honey, with all this going on now, if we don't have faith and don't trust God, we're not going to make it."
Exactly.
So I trust him.
And
If I
he's
had to eat a
coming back
peanut butter
real
sandwich or
soon, so
sugar
we better be
sandwich, I'm going to
prepared.
make it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
we're going to
you,
make
Lord.
it. We're going to make it.
Yeah.
Those who believe.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, everyone, this has been another segment of Bridging the Gap, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll be talking soon.
Yeah.